Hey all, it is episode 3 of Smiling While Everything Sucks, and I do not have any bigger picture, bigger world stuff to talk about today because I've been on autopilot and stimming a little bit for the past day and a half. But the aftermath of that is that I got to sit down and look at my own brain and be like, why do I do this? And I came up with this little thing on the bob. Can you see the whole thing in the camera? Yes, you can. So this probably makes no sense to you, but essentially, these are the different channels in my brain. Each little circular button, button in quotes, button you see there is a different channel that my mind goes to. And I want to shout out Michael from Creative Learning New York on this. I know he's on both Instagram and YouTube when these will be posted. Michael is a good friend of mine, and we were talking recently just about the different places the mind goes, and he brought up this concept of channels, and that really resonated me. Right? That like my mind, my brain has different channels. And these are some of the primary channels that came up, right? That came up for me. So you will see that, and I'll explain the arrows thing in a sec, although I think most of you can probably intuitively sense where I'm going with the arrow part. But channel F, who can guess? Who can guess what channel F stands for? Those of you who know me, take a pause and think, what do you think it stands for? Okay, so channel F stands for F it. Y'all know what word I mean. I don't think I can say it on YouTube and IG. That's the F it channel. That's the channel where my brain and my mind just go, screw it. So overwhelmed, gets into, and I don't care about anything except satisfying my anger and resilience or whatever it is in the moment. That's the fuck it channel. Oops, I said it. Oh well, we'll see what happens. Okay, you guys never see this video again. I got caught saying that word. Okay, so and that channel is not my baseline. I want to be clear, but that's not my baseline. But it was the first channel I thought of, so I'm just kind of going in order here. So the next channel, the A channel, it is not the Ashley channel, although it might as well be because, okay, this is kind of what my brain, I think, is preset to, right? This is the autopilot channel. And a lot of you have heard me talk about stimming before in the context of ADHD brain tendencies, just fixating on something that'll, give us dopamine and keeping locked in there, right? That's one part of the autopilot channel is the stimming. Another part of the autopilot channel is just on this numb channel where I'm just doing tasks because they need to get done with no particular sense of mindfulness or attachment to it. It's I'm kind of functioning like a machine, right? That's the autopilot channel. And I feel I don't think humans are destined to have their natural presets set to the autopilot channel. But I think since capitalism makes us do a lot of boring, crappy tasks, since a lot of 9-to-5s or full-time jobs, whatever there are hours there, have us just doing a lot of this, our brains become kind of used to being in that state, right? So that's the autopilot. Then there's the T. This is the triggered channel. So the triggered channel happens whenever I have any emotions that are uncomfortable or physical sensations that are uncomfortable, and I feel vulnerable or threatened somehow. I guess it could also be the threatened station too. And it's during this period, when uncomfortable sensations come up. This is really where the urge. This is, I think, the channel that the urge sits in and looks for, and once my brain is on this channel, the triggered or the threatened channel, it freaking, I almost did it again, jumps in like a shark to take its move. It's like my mind becomes prey at that point, and it's like the urge is like, ooh, I got you, my pretty, and just like jumps in then and tries to take me to either F-it channel or autopilot stimming channel, because it is so easy when I'm triggered to go here or here, right? So easy. And the urge knows that. The abusive partner knows that, and it just jumps in and tries to take me over here with food. Yeah, see? So that's the trigger channel. Then this is the mindfulness channel. And once I get into the triggered or the F-it channel or the autopilot, the mindfulness channel is a good channel to attempt to go back to get me out of that, right? And the mindfulness channel, the mindfulness channel is when I am zoned into the moment, zoned into my needs, zoned into what's going around me, and it's intentional, which is a little bit different than the chill channel. The chill channel is when I'm like pretty in tune with what's going on around me, but it's not necessarily intentional, right? Like the mindfulness channel actually does require a certain degree of effort and concentration, because it is the complete opposite of, even though they're next to each other on here, it's the complete opposite of this autopilot stimming channel, right? And since this is kind of my brain's default, it takes a lot for me to get to here. But I can do it. It just, there needs to be a lot of energy stored up and a strategy, and it really needs to be intentional. So the chill channel, we're talking a little bit more about that. So the chill channel, like I said, it's like when my body is at a state of relaxation, I'm in tune with the environment, but I'm not necessarily putting a lot of effort into try to. It's just when kind of the environmental circumstances are set up in a way that supports my inner chillness, right? This is very like, at home at the end of the day with either like a show or a movie that I like on, or a book in my hands and tails in my lap, and just like, just chill, relaxing, or outside taking a walk on a beautiful day. Just like, I'm here not making a lot of effort to make myself feel a bunch of way, just feeling it, and it's chill, it's cool. High tails. And then last but certainly not least, this is the joy channel. And it's different than the chill channel, because I think with joy, there's a lot more going on in my mind and body than the chill. Everything's kind of relaxing. The chill is like, I could go to sleep soon. The joy is, that's when the dopamine is cleared up, when the dopamine is geared up, when I am like experiencing so much pleasure in the moment that why would I even think about anything else? Why would I even dream about being anywhere else? The joy is just falling in love with the moment, It's not just accepting the moment. It's like, embracing it. I'm excited about what's really happening right now. I'm really into this. And sometimes as a creative person, I feel joy when involved in creative projects. And sometimes I can get so involved in it that I can cross over sometimes from joy to triggered, because when I'm working on a project, it can start out as a joy thing, but then I get stressed because I want it to be so perfect in a certain way. So that's, kind of the only way that those joy feelings can backfire. Like when I feel passionate about something and then it turns into, my brain like makes it into a chore, when it doesn't have to. So, all right. So those are all of the different channels of my brain. And there's any, I'm going to rip on you life coaches for a moment. I kid, that. But those of you who are like life coaches or like eternal optimists out there, maybe therapists, I'm going to rip on you therapists too. I love you. Y'all go to therapy if you need to. It's great. But all right. So a lot of you are probably thinking, so the trick is figuring out how to get to other channels when you're on the certain channels that don't serve you, like like the F it channel, right? Or the trigger channel, or they like, how do you get to these other channels that are more serving of you, right? So, and I am going to get there, but before I get there, I think a really important point that I need to make is part of the things I've been struggling with lately, such as like the depression and the ADHD symptoms, part of what makes this tricky, part of what makes this tricky is sorry, I got a text came in that really distracted me. I was like, what the hell? Anyway. Attention and focus problem. That is a perfect example of my attention and focus problems, by the way. So here's the thing. When you have things like depression and attention deficit problems, part of the challenge is that it can be really difficult to find, think about where you're watching TV. How do you change the channel, the remote? Well, when you're depressed, or if you have cognitive functioning issues, it can be hard to locate the remote. Yes, change the channel. Duh, that's the obvious suggestion. I think the struggle with us neurodivergent folks and folks who live with, who are manage mental illness is where to find the goddamn remote to change the channel, right? So, and I think at times I'll be able to find it. At times I'm not. So I need to kind of let the channel run this course, and I have to let it run its course until a little thing pops up saying, are you still watching? You know how you're watching Netflix for a while, that thing, it just pauses it and says, are you still watching? That's kind of what happened to me over the past day and a half. I've been in A for since and a little bit of F, you see they bounce back and forth between one another, right? I've been on this AF since yesterday morning. And at some point today, the little thing came up saying, are you still watching? And I was like, I don't think I am. I'm in the mood for something else. And then I shifted to this, right? And binge eating and a lot of addictions, I think are a similar way, and if you have other things that complicate it, like mental illness or attention deficit stuff, which a lot of us do, it becomes hard to find that remote. It becomes hard to stop without, it becomes hard to willingly pause or turn off the channel itself. You have to just wait until what runs through and that thing comes up saying, are you still watching? Are you still watching Laughing Moon's Brain on Netflix? Maybe you are, maybe you're not. And one last food for thought because of this. So the J, right? Remember when I was talking about how amazing the J feels? That's because, part of what I talk about here is how some of our brains don't have as much dopamine as is ideal, right? We have to get it from other sources, which is why medication can be helpful. Well, when I'm in joy mode, I don't feel that. I feel like I'm getting so much, I feel like I'm getting so much dopamine that I don't need to go stimming like I do in autopilot to go on this race or use external things to find it. It's all here. It's kind of the opposite. M and A are opposites in some way, but J and A are too, because there's not that I don't have to chase for dopamine or pleasure because it's just there. So anyway, I hope you guys like this. I hope that, do it for your own brain. See if you come up with the same channels. This might be interesting. I might need help looking for the remote sometimes. So sometimes I pop on here or call friends or do something, healing for myself when I am looking for the remote to change the channel. But here's to not losing remotes, being able to change the channel when I need to. And I hope you all have a beautiful day. Okay, thanks. Talk soon.